welcomes. Yes, I said it like Michael typed it. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. Hello, Grayson. We got Regina. We got Jacqueline, SM, MK, Katie Ann, Kristen. Hello, Phoebe's here.
Phoebe's here.
There we go. So excited. Scarletta, I scrolled back up. Ray, hello. JC, hi, everyone.
Hello.
So glad you guys could join us. So today's going to be a bit of a hodgepodge of a live stream, but at this point, what else do you expect from the two of us, especially on these Authortube chats? We just like to hop around.
Especially when we like have a set day, but yet continuously push it back.
Yes. You know what? We've done okay with Tuesdays, though. You know, the time
the time is the same. The day of the week is the same. The number of weeks into the month we are questionable.
This is progress from the first year when we just randomly chose a day. So I think this is, for going into the third year, we're just going to be like, we're going to be crushing it.
When it was like the 25th and I would message you and be like, we haven't done this month's Authortube chat yet.
Yeah.
maybe we should. Maybe we should.
So before we answer Jeff's question, and I want to hear from all of y'all in the chat, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this hodgepodge we're expecting. So we're going to chat about our writing lives this past year, basically, some successes, some lessons learned, general vibes, however you want to take it. We'll talk about 2022 goals or plans to do better than this year, you know, or whatever. And then we have our book club pick from this month, which was Dash and Lily's Book of Dares. I was like, you are so on top of it. Dash and Lily's Book of Dares. And then let me share my screen real quick so you guys can see, because I'm unnecessarily proud. It took like no time, but I need y'all to see. Look at this, okay? We're going to tier rank all of the books from Authortube Chat book club pick. So, again, a hodgepodge. Jessica, how was your holiday?
It was normal for me.
Yes.
It was okay. It was not great. It was kind of poopy in some parts. But I was there. I was here, actually at this desk. Ta-da!
Hooray! Yes. My break was good. I'm feeling a little bit like I was telling some friends, Jessica included, that the pandemic has made me even more introverted. So I've had this surplus of hanging out with everyone the past 2 months, which is wonderful, but also I feel like I'm running on fumes. So
please don't make me.
I'm gonna make you.
Okay, fine. I am a mess. If only you guys knew. If only you knew. To be fair, I changed my name to Mess last Tuesday when I was doing live streams on Sam's channel, because we were doing like a holiday battle thing. Mm-hmm. And so I was on Matt's team, and the other team, both their names started with a C, and I was like, so I should be Mess because Matt. So, and then it has stuck because I don't know if you know this about your girl, but she a mess, y'all.
She mess. She
is a mess indeed.
Devisha's here. Hi, Devisha. With that wrench, which does not.
With that wrench.
Oh, with that wrench, though. Happily, I don't know why I mispronounced your name. I'm so sorry. I moved down after Abby to definitely, and I was like, I'm going to combine your name with that word. Abby says, definitely feel that. I'm exhausted from all the socializing. Yes.
I believe I can fly.
And Jacqueline is also a mess. I believe I can fly. Oh, that's good, JC. The pandemic has made me better able to say no when people want me to go somewhere. I just say, nope. Pandemic.
It's true.
That's an excellent point. It's just a good fallback excuse. You is currently writing a novel for the first time. It's for a contest on the site Web Novel. Yay! Congratulations on exploring this new avenue of creativity.
And best of luck.
Yeah, yes. We're sending you all of the good vibes. Let's see. Charlotte's here. Hi, Charlotte.
Charlotte, hello.
Hail Queen. Hi. Jeff went to their aunts. It was awesome. I got to be with my parents, but my dad can't walk. Oh no, because he had hip replacement. So those prayers for him. Sending all the good
Absolutely.
vibes and wishes.
All the goods.
Yes. Let's see. So everyone else, let us know what you can do, either like your biggest success of the year or any kind of wins, writing or otherwise. But Jessica, do you have any like W's from this past year for writing? For reading, I know you got a bunch since we were just talking about it. But...
I mean, really, for this year, writing wise, I did spend the majority of like the first part of the year rebuilding my adult high fantasy, like the whole thing from the ground up, the world building, all of it, all new, magic systems, religions, all that. So I got all of that done at the beginning of the year. I did take a firm step away from that story, but it is ready to be rewritten entirely when I'm ready. It's ready. We're just waiting on me to be ready.
Yeah.
And then in October, I went on a writing retreat with Grapefry and Wallace and Katie Ann, and I was able to kind of work through some of the like the big roadblocks that I had with the French Grim Reaper, which means I'm ready for that, which is a good thing because I have like 33 days until it's due to Kate.
Yes, you do. And actually, one of my wins is having this deadline with you to look forward to get Project Death in shape as well. So I'm excited.
It's definitely like, I know we're not technically to this portion, but hodgepodgage.
Yes.
I am making no writing goals for this year until I get to the end of January, because like that is my main focus. And I tend to plan quarterly, but because it's not a full quarter, I was like, let me get to the end of this. I'm basically doing a nano in January, in case anybody's interested. Come hang out. Doing a Januraimo. And then I'm gonna see how I feel in February. And then I'll make some goals.
I like that plan. It does feel like a continuation in some respects, or it sometimes feels like I started my January goals early because it's nice to be able to take this 2021 momentum into 2022 just for the month to finish this.
Just casually going 1 month. I mean, November and December were basically a bust for me, so like just casually taking January.
What? Just me and you on the same page. January or November and December also felt somewhat of a bust for me. I mean, like progress-wise in the story, like I feel like I have it all squared away in my brain in a much better way. Like I feel very intimately connected with the story at this point. Like I'm entrenched, but in terms of like actual word progress, it was not where I had hoped. But I have about 30,000 more words, so not quite a Januraimo, but 30,000 more words I got to write in January before I give it to you. But
to be fair, I think I have 25,000 words currently, like in the original first draft, second draft, whatever draft it was. In the original one, I had like 25,000 words. And I think probably 10 to 15,000 of that is going to be reusable. And then I want to try to get it to 50,000 before I get it to you. So I'm writing probably between 30 and 40,000, not a full 50, but who knows, not me.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, made a tiny human and did not quit writing. That is a huge accomplishment.
That is a fantastic accomplishment.
That's amazing. Siobhan, my biggest win of the year was I finally published. It is only a novella, but I did it. That's incredible. Heck yes. That's
fantastic.
A win for me was just reading more than usual. Heck yes. Got through 15,000 words on my latest edit of my novel, so although not a lot, I'm happy it's not 0.
Absolutely.
You know what? I feel like my mentality around not just pandemic years at this point, but like just in general, if it's not 0, like, you know what? Progress was made. It's good.
Progress was made.
JC, I published 2 books, a novel and a poetry collection, and I've actually participated in a couple of live streams recently, so I'm getting past my fear of doing lives. Yes, JC!
Yay! Excited. All of the excitement.
Yes. Oh my god, Catherine just today finished draft 2 of my first novel. Woohoo!
Yay!
Yes! Banners, streams, party. That's awesome. Gavin finished my first draft of my first novel back in July, so currently I'm in the middle of a final draft. That's incredible.
Fantastic.
I don't know what this is in reference to, but smart move, Jessica. Smart move indeed. Just in general.
Yeah, just in general. Whatever the move was, it was smart.
Yeah. Jasmine and I went through the first book of my trilogy and majorly edited it. Was hoping to have it done before the new year, but I don't know if that will happen. But I finished 80%, so I'm proud of myself. That's incredible.
Roll it on over into January. That's what we're doing. Just bring it on over.
Club. Yeah.
Join the club.
Katie Ann's here for Januraimo. Katie Ann also had a story idea pop up. I saw on Instagram, which, you know, that's what those ideas are, just always more attention.
I don't factually know all of the rules and regulations because I am a horrible human being, but Katie Ann and the other troublemakers are running like a Januraimo event on their troublemakers Discord server.
Well, shit.
So
we're really part of the club then.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay. Well, this will be nice. Okay, I'm excited. I'm even more excited. Maddie, I think a win for me this year was starting the Diploma of Specialized Makeup after I nearly gave up on actually doing a makeup course. Yay! Yay for starting. You got this. And Ray ran a half marathon a couple days after running a 15K. Holy shit. That's incredible.
Not me, Pinky Lee. Pew, pew.
It jumped. I have...
Rude.
I know. I was trying to think back on this year when I was pondering this question, and literally I wrote down, I learned my own limits, LOL, as part of a win. So, you know, that's good. It's good. It's okay to be seen trying. That was a quote I liked this year. Did a horror short story for the first time. That was a genre I didn't think I would ever write before. So that was really fun. Yeah. And the Ray Bradbury experiment for me was something that really was just a lot and helped a lot. So all good things. Kitty and I may have made spreadsheets for Januraimo and even badges like it's real, Nana. Okay. Can we?
I just shared the Troublemakers YouTube channel in the chat. So you can go there and find like the link for their Discord server and all that fun stuff. And I know somebody was asking, what is Januraimo? I've had a couple of those go by me. It's basically like NaNoWriMo, which is where you write the first draft of a novel, 50,000 words in the month of November. But we're moving it to January. So it's Januraimo. 31 days, write 50,000 words with your friends on the internet, because why not?
Yeah. Also, I don't know. This is I get some people don't like resolutions, and that's totally fair. But I sometimes think that having a NaNoWriMo in January is just the perfect time. It just makes sense to go for the crazy goal in January.
I mean, Michael is putting all of the dad jokes into the chat currently.
I love it. Yay, Katie Ann! That's such a huge step. I'm just here starting the querying journey. Need to edit book 1 of my circus mystery while writing book 2 of my circus mystery. Heck yes. Yes. Maker. Yes. I'm so glad. I'm just passing it along. It's helped me a lot too. I reckon another win for me was picking up my guitar again and learning a new song as well as writing a new song. That's incredible.
Absolutely.
I mean, imagine if that was your first act, though, as Mod Depeja.
I shall be promoting myself for my first action on this channel. I probably did. Let's be honest.
I love it.
It's been too long. I don't know the answer.
Well, this is amazing. Let us know what your goals are. If, unlike Jess, if you've already thought about any writing goals for the new year, what those are. And those of you who, let me know if you guys have either, if you haven't started querying, if you're going to try and query in 2022, I have my fingers crossed that I'll be able to query Project Death in 2022. So we shall see how that moves along. Of course, after I give it to Jessica, we'll see how it goes.
That was the other thing that we 100% have not discussed was turnaround time. Like, we need to figure that out also. How long do we have to read it? And we'll have to talk about this after.
Yes.
When we're not standing here staring at each other live on the internet. But like, what are we expecting? And like, what kind of notes do we want? And all of those things. We need to figure all of that out.
Yeah.
But somebody doesn't ever answer their text messages. So
I have been
yet.
rightfully called out. Can I say that that's one of my resolutions for 2022? Is I'm just going to set like an alarm on everything and just be like, you know what? Just look at your phone at like noon and answer things. Because you know what the real problem is that I have to make the boyfriend play his second favorite game, as I call it, which is help me find my phone. Because I just set it down. Who knows? I'm just searching for 20 minutes and I'm like, I can't find it. It's your turn.
So we have to get, do you have, you need to have one of those things, the Find My Phone, where you ask your smart talkie device to find your phone?
I do. You know what? I have been thinking about finally taking the plunge and switching from Android over to iPhone. Maybe I'll get one of the fancy watches and then just be like, I can ping it and then I'll never have this problem again.
Also, I did send you an email like yesterday. It might have been today, but I think it was yesterday. A template for next month's project for Authortube Chat. So like, you should check your email too.
I should also do that. What is an Authortube Chat live stream if not arbitrarily calling each other out for things very publicly?
If not for getting things done, because otherwise it'll never happen.
Oh,
it's fine.
Yes, we will have to do that. Let's see. Books listening. My mental health got better. I found my lost creativity again and started writing my first fantasy novel. Got around 20K so far, so a huge win. That's awesome.
Fantastic.
That is a huge win. Charlotte, my January is already going to be jam-packed enough, working lighting design for one show, putting on my own show, moving house, and giving notice to work that I'm leaving in February. I was trying to see if your message got cut off. I don't think Januraimo is going to happen for me. You got a lot.
I mean, you're not wrong.
All right. I guess another one is I survived Lognarok. That was also very impressive.
Michael.
It's so good. Ren says, I want to start a fantasy romance novel in 2022. My writing goal for next year is just to write more because I lacked a lot with writing this year. Yes, shifting focuses sometimes for the new year is nice. DW, my goal is to revise and submit one query in 2022. Yes! We're going to have
living the dream.
Query squad. We got this. Just one. My goals are to write and self-publish book 1 in the series, start book 2. Yay.
Fantastic.
Finish my first draft of my first book next year. Heck yes. Does anybody have any good system or process changes to either that they learned this year or that they plan to implement in the new year to kind of help make these goals happen?
Oh, I wish.
I know. That's what, I actually started using my planner again because I hadn't been using it for a hot minute. And I was like, why do I ever stop using it? I cannot keep up with all of this in my brain. That's why I have a planner in the first place. So why do I
literally why the planner exists.
Yes. So I guess that's my process change is to actually use the thing that helps me.
I guess the other thing that I have kind of sort of talked about somewhere. Don't know where. I don't know. Somewhere on the internet for sure. I want to find my second book. Like a lot of times when you are selling a book, querying a book, they'll want to know if you have anything similar as a companion to, not necessarily a companion novel, but accompanying. So I need to figure out what that's going to be and write my first draft of that this year also. So I guess I do have 2 goals.
I was about to say that's another goal of mine as well, is to write a standalone YA-ish fantasy. I already have the idea. So I have a hope that I will start a new project for NaNoWriMo this year. So maybe that will be the project, you know?
I have like 400 million standalone YA projects, so I just have to pick the one that matches the best.
Yes, that is the trick.
Also, Kristen, I feel that on a deep personal level. I want you to know that.
Yeah. Wasn't your goal to, no, what did I see on your Instagram? It was a mantra, but it was
I have it. It's I'm calling it my chant because I feel like I don't know that a mantra is I don't know that chant is also accurate either way. Everybody has like a word of the year. If you're in the journaling world, you have a word of the year. And I don't have a word for the year. I have like a saying, and it is do less, be more. Because I have spread myself so thin doing 9 million things, and I'm not actually accomplishing anything because I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off and just like getting little bits and pieces of stuff done. And I want to focus on a much narrower focus and be more productive on those very few specific things.
Yes, I feel that very strongly.
It's the year of 25%. I'm only giving 25% to the majority of my hobbies so that I can then give some percentages to writing.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
I'm here for that.
Woo.
Yeah. That's a cheer, a movement, little wiggle dance. I like that a lot. I already self-published. I have a goal for 2022 to start and finish another series. Heck yes. Oh, it jumped on me again. What am I doing? It's fine. My groundbreaking method is showing up. That's what I learned matters this year. Heck yes.
Absolutely.
There's very much a butt in chairness or wherever you need to show up to that has to happen, right? So heck yes.
Indeed.
Goals for 22, quit my job, tour my show, turn my parents' basement into a studio flat, finish my book, just a couple of small things. You got this, Charlotte. I believe in you.
You got this.
Non-writing goals to do more freelance makeup related things and maybe somewhere along the line be a theater makeup artist as well. Heck yes.
Fantastic.
Oh my God, Rachel, I started 2021 breaking my arm on New Year's. Hopefully 2022 starts better. Yeah, you've heard. Like
absolutely. That's rough. That's a rough one.
I feel like this is in response to your chant or your.
If not, it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just gonna take y'all's comments out of context and apply them where we want.
Wherever we feel necessary.
Katrina published 4 books this year. This was a crazy year. That's phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Sabina, my goal for 2022 is to finish the first book of a new epic urban fantasy.
Yeah.
Regina's joining in. What is this?
Regina and Michael always with the dad jokes, and I love it.
Also, my goal is to edit some of these finished manuscripts I have that shiny new ideas. JC, I feel like that's my constant battle. Yes.
Shiny new ideas.
That's what.
Mine should be shiny old ideas, because like it's this, like I'll be working on a project and I'm like, but you know what? You haven't touched that one book in like 3 years, and you miss it, and you should go back to it. And I'm like, but I'm not ready. But you should go back to it though.
It's always the like, I forget all the like hard, tough problems that you have to figure out when it's not the project I'm working on. So then they all seem so shiny to me when I'm in the midst of this one and I'm just stuck, you know. I'm like, oh, look, old ideas, new ideas, far off, beautiful ideas, it's fine.
It'll all be okay.
Katie Ann, I want to write another book to revise my vampire book. Oh, and try not to think too hard about the querying. Yes.
Yeah.
That waiting game is just... But it is so impressive, Katie Ann, and everyone else who's going to query, to have gotten to a place that you are querying. Like, that is a phenomenal accomplishment in itself, but I know that the waiting game can kind of downturn a little bit.
I was also querying when I was Katie's age. It was a decade ago. Hopefully she has better luck than I did.
And but, you know what, Jess? Now this decade, you're going to...
But in this decade, it's going to be my decade. This one right here.
That's right. 30s are ready. I finally figured out how to cure shiny new idea syndrome by writing down everything I think I have for new idea and then realized that it would be way more righteous than thing. That is an excellent point. That is a good cure.
That's how I do it. Like, I always just write down all the things I have in my brain for the shiny new idea and then put it away because I'm like, it'll take less time to just work on the project you're working on. But go ahead.
Yes.
It's our decade. Living the dream. I think we've had, not to say that like everybody who has ever been or will ever be on Authortube will be published, but I think last year we had a good number of people be traditionally published, and I'm hoping that that is a continuing trend.
Yes. Yes, I think so too. As the fingers crossed. And it was so exciting getting like so many announcements of like either projects that were going to be published or agents and stuff like that. It just felt like a wave of so much like good energy coming through, and everyone was so excited for one another. So I'm just waiting for that wave to come again. And I know part of it also is just, you know, some of it has been the pandemic and, you know, publishing itself kind of being like that. But yeah, and tons of people who were indie publishing this year too. So
absolutely. I to be 100% clear, I just said traditionally published because I know Kate and I both are working on projects that we would like to have traditionally published. So
yeah,
currently at this moment, but Kate and I also both are like hybrid publish goal people. We would like to both trad pub and indie pub. So
yes. We just want to do all of it. We
want to do all of the things. Can we just do everything? No, you can't. You cannot do everything. This is like, I don't even know where it's at currently. I think it's in the front of my reading planner, which who knows where that's at. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's blue. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. I have like 14 planners out right now because I'm switching over for the end of the year. So you can do anything, but not everything.
It's very true, but also sometimes I like to ignore the truth. You know, like who needs that?
Well, and that has been like the thing I've been looking at for the past couple of years and ignoring. Like it's in the front of my planner, so I see it every day.
Yes.
And I ignore it. So now it's do less, be more.
I like that so much, though.
It's quick and easy.
Yeah. Kayla, I want to start submitting short stories to magazines and work harder to diversify my reading. Great goals.
Excellent.
Emily says 2022 is publishing year for me and writing the novella and sequel. Yay.
I'm ready.
Heck yes. Thanks, Playvon, for sending everyone the best of vibes.
All of it.
Kitty, and I feel called out by that, Jessica. How dare you tell me a workaholic, can't do everything? Yeah, how dare you?
I mean, maybe you can, but Jessica cannot. Clearly. Everybody's different. Everybody's amounts of things they can get done is different.
Yes. Miranda says, the more I think about my project, the more I think it's better suited for a TV or film series, which if you go to our good friend Becca C. Smith's channel, she talks about screenwriting and best practices and how to do it. So I would recommend checking her out. That's actually one of my goals this year too, is to write, actually reattempt, because Jessica and I did attempt once upon a time, not to, attempt is in quotes, to write screenplays, but I want to attempt again. And actually inspired by Wallace's This Book is for October, I want to try and write my Hallmark idea screenplay that I've had. But also, you know what? Hallmark needs to get on that October content. So I will try to be that person and write the fall themed, Halloween themed Hallmark movie of my dreams.
We talked about this a little bit on the writing retreat, and one day I want to rewrite the Halloween Town movies into a book with an actual plot, because I don't know if you guys have ever sat and watched all 4 of those movies back to back, but we did during the writing retreat, and it was a hot dang mess. Like, I love them, do not get me wrong. They've been out forever and I love them, but they a hot dang mess. And so I want to write, like, can you do a retelling of something that's been out in the last 15 years? I don't know, but I want to write a retelling of Halloween Town, like different characters, different plot, whatever, but like that idea of 2 separate worlds, children from both worlds, and an actual plot that makes sense.
Yes, I would love that so much. I only ever watched the first Halloween Town over again. I did like the second one, but I don't think I really remember ever watching the third or fourth. So yeah,
I mean,
concur.
The third is my, I guess, like, the second is my least favorite. The fourth is, it's hard. The fourth is my least favorite because they don't have the same actress for absolutely no reason. But it actually has the best plot of the 4.
Okay.
It has the most consistent plot.
Okay.
In fourth. And I really love the third one, but the first one is definitely my favorite. But like the second one, I'm like, I don't care.
Well,
who cares?
No one saw that. It's fine. Just disappear every time.
It's fine. Ta-da!
Yeah, surprise. Regina, I'm so sorry about the sick dog. My end of 2021 publication will become my first of 2022 because I have a sick dog. I'm so sorry. They get old. I know.
Yeah. We're here for you, but we're not here for that.
Yeah. Yeah. The best way to say that I've ever heard. Yeah. Emily says I'm definitely a one project at a time type person, and it kind of sucks. I have so many stories I want to write, but I have to wait. You know what, Emily? Even as not a one project at a time type of person, I feel that very strongly though, because I kind of eventually need to do sort of what Jessica's saying, but for projects where I just like have to slowly zero in on them. But like, why can't I just work on all of them all of the time and also make all of the progress? There's a disconnect there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's fine. Julia, am I the only one who never wants to be published? I'd love to finish one of my stories and refine it enough to maybe share it with 3 people that have been nagging me nagging me about it for about a decade. Not at all. I don't think it's talked about as much on Authortube, but there's definitely been tons of comments like that before, where it's like, you know what? I just like writing as a thing for me and a few, couple friends and stuff like that. And I think that's great too.
I think the key thing there is like Authortube is because technically you're not an author unless you sell work, I think is like the technical definition. But yeah, there's definitely people who are either on screen or just in chats who write for fun or for themselves. And we're still here for you. We're still here to support you. Yes. We're here to support all writing of all kinds.
Yes. Jeff Hart, I'm going to try and finish my zombie librarian book in 2022, but I don't know for sure because I've been worried. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Might make a comic to go with it. Oh, a comic would be cool as well. Oh, Sky's over here saying the third one's the best.
The third one is fantastic. But the boyfriend thing is weird. I don't know. Listen, it's Disney, and Disney just like makes things really awkward.
Kidding, I'm about to have your cereal song going in my brain. It's like, you need a fourth. Yeah.
No, calm down. Tell your brain to calm down. Take it down a notch. Just a little.
Yes. Also, I have not watched it yet, but I need to. I'm very excited. Shay's here. Hi, Shay.
Hello, Shay.
All right. Does anyone else have any other writing related goal? Actually, if you want to talk about any other kind of goals, Jessica, do you have any reading goals for 2022 that you figured out?
Reading goals for 2022? 2022?
Oh, 20.
I set my reading goal, my book goal to 30 books. For clarification for anyone in the chat who is not familiar with me, I read 130 books this year.
Yeah.
So my goal for next year is 30 because 25%, that's it. My goal was 120 this year. So 30 this year, next year, whatever year we're in. And I want to read more of the things I want to read and focus less on readathons and book club books and things I'm not really interested in reading.
Yeah.
Like reading things because I feel like I have to. I want to read things because I want to.
Yeah, that's a great goal. I love that you're taking your 25% and making it like, and actually kind of trying to make it actionable within the goals as well. You're like, no, 30.
I will 100% read more than 30 books next year.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
I will because I try to read 31 books in October every year. I don't always make it, but I try. And so, like, I know I'll read more than 31 books next year or more than 30 books next year. But
Yeah.
I feel like if I have a goal of 30, I'm not going to feel like pressured to read more and more and more when I could be doing other things. So, like writing.
Yeah. No, I love that. I want to read a book a month in 2022 at least. You know what, Jessica? We might have the same reading goal this year. I actually managed to hit 30 this year, so that was an improvement on what I'd set my goal as. So I'm hoping I will just up it next year. Shay, reading goals, more nonfiction, and not fail this Read My Friends challenge. Writing goals, finish the Stat Gum thriller and short story collection. Heck yes, Shay.
Also fair.
Aiming for 1 a month. I'm so bad at finishing books, so I just want to get back into it.
I will tell you, if you have not tried audiobooks, you should. And that worked for Emily, who was also struggling to finish books. Like would get started and have a hard time finishing them. And she started doing audiobooks and now she's over here killing it. So if you haven't tried it, recommend.
I when I can, I like to get both the ebook and the audiobook from the library. And I've really loved starting reading the books on the ebook, but then finishing them, whichever amount through on audio. I don't know why. I guess I like to kind of familiarize myself with the voices or what I think first and then do the audio bit. But it helps to finish so much. I am with you.
I love doing fantasy and audiobooks because I learned how to say words.
That is an excellent point. So Emily's saying it. Thank you, audiobooks.
Yep.
Oh, Charlotte, I need to read them as well. I was just talking with my dad about them today. Main form of reading is audiobooks. Audiobooks.
I also would like to watch some more television this year. Like I'm adding in a weird thing because I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I just finally, for the first time ever, watched The Vampire Diaries this year. Far behind I am on television. So,
do you
I'd like to watch some TV?
Do you have some shows on your list?
I mean, obviously now I need to watch the originals and legacies. Like I have to watch those now, clearly.
Of course.
Do you know that I have never finished watching Shadowhunters? Like I watched seasons 1 and 2 and part of 3, but never finished it because I was so mad that they canceled it that I just didn't finish watching it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
I there's so much that like I just quit at a certain point. Like I haven't really watched TV for a couple of years. So I'm like 2 or 3 years behind on all of like the DC superhero TV shows that I used to watch. Like so much. I have so much to finish. And I am considering doing like a because most of the things that I watch are adaptations because I
Mhm.
am just that weird person who I don't really care about adaptations being perfect or accurate to their original source. I just like having fun and being in the world. So I have been considering like reading and watching things and doing like a video on like what I think of the adaptation as far as like not necessarily is it true to the adaptation, but like how did they change it for TV? So I think a lot of people don't realize um how different like plot devices and plots have to work for a story like a written book versus a TV show or a movie. Like they have to change things or it doesn't work,
Mhm.
which we can also talk about later when we talk about this.
That's what you've watched it, right? I have not, so I'm excited to hear your thoughts and opinions about that. But I also love that. I think there's a lot to be said for the way different mediums have to present stories, and I would love to watch your take on some of those and chat about that. So I am excited.
I'm hoping that in 2022 we get the um, Vampire Academy TV series, but I don't think it's going to happen until 2023. But
Mhm. I still need to read past book 3.
would you read past book 3 already? Oh my gosh.
No, man, I still
Please.
have to do that. I'd forgotten somehow. I was over here like, "Yo, Vampire Academy," but, for what it's worth, Jess is one of the first people who, I talked to who just loved Vampire Academy, but also loved the movie, which is all I'd seen, and I was trash for the movie. I thought it was great. Didn't care what anyone else said, and then I read the books and, like, I totally got why some people would be upset, but I still love the movie and the books, and
I love them both.
I was like, anyways, but I only read the first 3 and then my heart was broken. And that's what I remember.
Well, your heart will never be repaired if you don't finish the series.
You're not wrong.
You guys should both read
I
them.
was like,
It's
yeah.
fantastic.
Oh. Ugh.
I'm telling you, it's so good. I definitely am. Like I love it. The movie and the book are completely different tones. Like the
Mhm.
movie is very like slapstick comedy, goofy, dramatic, and the books are like dark and creepy and just like so much darker. But I
Yes.
love them both for different reasons. Yeah.
You're not alone.
You are not alone. We are here together hanging out.
Luna Heart is a great name. I love the series. Yes.
Oh, that's sad. I know. I definitely 100% do plan to watch the originals this year. Like it's on my list. Because I love the original Vampires so much. Like I'm obsessed now. Like I need to rewatch Vampire Diaries already. Like I just watched it and I need to watch it again. Um, I also watched season 2 of The Witcher this week. Christmas Day. That's what I did Christmas Day. I stayed up till 5 a.m.
What did you think?
I really enjoyed it, but I haven't read the books, so I have no like comparison on that. But
Yeah,
I
no,
liked it.
me neither, but I liked it too.
I liked it.
I had fun. I will say that like my overarching thing for books, movies, TV shows, whatever else is like, you know what? Did I have fun? Did I enjoy it? And as you will see when we go to our tier ranking of all the books we read, there's one that I can objectively be like, you know what? There were problems, but I had a great time reading it. Jessica hated this book. I don't know if anyone else read all of our books with us. We'll know what I'm talking about, but
I know exactly which one you're talking about because I didn't finish it.
yeah. Oh, The Witcher is one of my favorites. Yes. One episode left. Oh, I have not watched Yellowstone. Do I
My
need
mom
to?
watches that, and I have no interest. I've seen like bits and pieces when I'm in the kitchen making dinner and stuff, but
It's very fair. I just started watching Outlander because it's on Netflix now. I don't know how long it's been on Netflix, but I know that was all of the rage like however many years ago. I was gonna say 5, 7, 2. I
I
don't know.
also don't have any interest in that either.
And fair.
I just have heard too many things about content that I can't watch, so.
And that is even more fair.
Also why I have not watched Game of Thrones, because content. So
Extra fair.
gotta live out here. Gotta live your best life and do what's good for you.
Let's see. There we go. Speaking of Outlander. My goal for 2022 is to start my Authortube YouTube channel up with many of my favorite authors and authors guest on my Tuesday Tea Time series. That sounds wonderful. And tea, even better. I read, watch things for entertainment and to get lost in world. That pretty much means accuracy. Whatever means absolutely nothing to me. It has pissed people off. Yep.
Me too.
Yeah.
Hardcore, me too.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, formats, there are books that will just not work as a television show.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it is what it is. Like you have to, it's an adaptation, literally. You have to kind of move things around for pacing issues and time constraints. And I think as long as you keep the heart of the story, like the characters are still the characters and the heart of the story is the heart of the story. That's all that matters.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it's the heart. And the real problem, the only time I think an adaptation is bad, like when I've both read the books and then watched the movie or TV show, is when they just like remove the heart of the thing. Where I was like, you know what? This wasn't even like, you didn't get it. That's what I feel like I'm yelling about. Like a small child. Yeah, hi, Puffy.
I'm like, that's not a small child. That's a dog. You don't have a small child. You have a dog.
Do not have a small child. Have many dogs.
I also have many dogs.
Yeah.
None of them are in here. I am currently barricaded against them.
That's what you have. You have one. It's not just books. I think I'm one of the only people out there who had just fun watching the new Star Wars movies. My only criteria. I'm not ready to talk about that still.
I haven't watched them. I've only ever watched the original 3, and that was like last year or the year before.
I know. But you know what? I was so happy you did.
And I enjoyed them.
Yeah.
They were great. Will I one year watch the next trilogy and then the next trilogy? Possibly. Will I skip the second set of trilogies and just watch the last set? Possibly.
So many options. You have so many TV shows you can watch in the universe, you know.
I do. There's so many things that like I'm like behind on, but also
you gotta choose. It's like the best problem to have. Like there's so much entertainment in the world. However, will I select what I, you know? Adventurous fantasy. The only thing that bothers me is when the characters are the character in name only. When you change a character that much, why not just make a new character? Oh, not a bad point. Yeah,
that's true.
Sometimes, yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna say this: the Percy Jackson movies are not at all what the Percy Jackson books are. They 100% agree, but I never would have read the Percy Jackson books had I not watched the first movie and enjoyed it. Because if you take that first movie away from the book series, it's not a terrible movie. But once you have read the books, you're like, that movie was a horrible adaptation. But I would have never have read the books had I not watched the movie and enjoyed it. So I have to appreciate that aspect of it.
I was literally thinking about the Percy Jackson movies when I was saying that comment about removing the hearts. I feel like, but no, I'm with you. Sometimes you get introduced, especially because movies and TV shows have a really have an easier way of showing you the concept of something cool. And I think because you have the visuals, you're more willing to sometimes be like, whoa, that was a cool concept. And then you read the books and you're like, holy shit, this is actually so much better. So it can be such a good funnel for introduction to stuff that like you can look back on at least that first movie or something where you're like, it wasn't the worst, wasn't a good adaptation, but wasn't the worst movie, and introduces you to this world in a really cool way.
Especially because how old I was at the time. I think I started reading the Percy Jackson books when I was like 28 or 29. Like I was double the age of the target demographic for that book series. And I would not have picked it up had it not been for watching the movie and enjoying it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Barrett says, I get annoyed when a romance is added to a film adaptation that didn't exist in the books. Oh, I can't
Aragon?
I thankfully never watched that. So
yeah. I only read the first book. I DNF'd the series as a whole just because it was not my favorite. It was not the best, but I know that the first book and the movie are incredibly different. And they have a romance, so that's not in the book series at all.
RA says if an adaptation gets people restarting or rereading, it's a win no matter how it's handled.
I mean, it does its job.
Yeah.
I mean, I did set it.
Oh, Benjamin wants to be able to like mull over something. I like that on occasion. Yeah. Sometimes you have some stories though. It's like I need that intermixed with my absolute nonsense where I can turn my brain off. I'm
that same person that I have probably watched. I kid you not. I have watched many movies many times, but probably the movie I've seen the most in my entire life is Vampire Academy. I have probably watched it 500 times. And I will sit and watch it. I know every word, every line, everything to that movie. And I can sit down and watch it right now and have a fun time. So I sometimes I'm just there for enjoyment.
Yeah.
Turn my brain off. It's fine.
Sorry, I am behind. I was trying to find a particular comment and I think it is eluding me.
You're fired.
I know. It's my one job. And I can't do it. All right, I've given up. Let me go back down.
I give up.
Give up. That's it. Question: do you guys write like special series for y'all's books? Like this year, did y'all write a Christmas special for the main book? Oh, I love that. That's such a cute idea.
That's a good idea, but I have never done that.
I'd argue that like I do that for romances sometimes where I have like the epilogue kind of serves that purpose, or like if I want to give away something for free afterwards, I can be like, okay, you read this or you bought this, now read the like cute little short story with them 2 years later. So kind of, but I've never done it like purposely within the mind to have like a Christmas special or something. I think that's really cool. That's me with Practical Magic, even if I read the book after and it was so different. Still my favorite movie. Regina, I've written 8 seasonal novellas for my Colorado Millionaire series, but I never get the timing right for the novel. Yes.
That's fair.
Oh my gosh. Wait, does it do anything on the... That's so cool. You can now start comments and StreamYard, so if someone says something you want to come back to, it's neat. That is... I just started your comment.
Devasha, are you teaching me things about StreamYard? I did not know this was a thing.
This is so cool. Oh, and then I can just go to my starred section. What?
Star them. It's official.
Star.
It's official. I have been replaced as the StreamYard queen. I bow down to you guys. You guys have to make the tutorial videos from now on. I'm out.
Amazing.
Also, in my chats where I actually have control, there's not enough people to worry about losing comments, so...
That's what, or I'm just easily distracted. It's like, you guys have such good comments. I have like 5 responses in my brain, and then I move on.
It's fine. Like, we have these chats. Jessica talks for 3 hours. Kate just kind of sits there and nods her head. It's like, yep, keep going. Just say the thing you're saying.
Well, it's just because you sound so smart all the time. I want to make sure that,
Oh, is that it?
Okay. Co-host, excuse me, what? In stream?
Yeah.
What?
I'll show you how to do it when we get backstage. I'll tell you what it is when we get backstage after the end.
Okay, thank you. Barrett's got a question. What video trend would you love to see on Authortube in 2022? Oh,
It's a good question.
You know what? I do have an answer. It's just that it's really hard to do. But Becca had a 90-day experiment where she wrote and published a book, got beta feedback in that time and all this stuff. And then she made one video for it. I would love to see very long, like the life of an entire first draft in one video, or like an entire book in one video. But I know that those are so difficult to do because you got to keep up with the footage, but also like YouTube asks you to like make videos every so often, like way more often than one giant one. So I'd love that to be a trend, but also like I understand why it is currently not a trend.
I want the trend to be an accidental trend.
Ooh.
And I want everybody to have a video that just says, I got an agent, or I am getting published. That's the trend I want. I want it to be an accidental trend. I want it to be an accidental trend because we're not planning it, but I want it to happen. I want to manifest all of the good agenting and publishing things for all of us.
Yes.
Accidental trend. Like, we'll just all randomly like publish them in the same month, and we'll be like, what is happening? It would be so cool.
You know what? That would be cool.
It would be fantastic. But also, I loved Becca's like 90 days to write, edit, publish, post, audiobook and all. It was fantastic.
Yeah. I was like, I would like to take back my answer and give it and use your answer instead. That is.
Can we go back in time?
Yeah. Can we rewind and put that out there? We all want to see that. Best trend manifested.
That's the accidental trend I want to see in 2022. Everybody gets an agent. Everybody gets a publish. Everybody gets a something, depending on whether you're traditional or indie roaded. Yes.
I'd like to see more of those talk about their working process from the idea to the published book. Yeah, me and you. I'm with you. Yes, Sarah. That's what, just ideas for the future. Documenting project from start to finish sounds a great theory, but it's like, I don't know how Becca did it, to be honest. Like, sometimes I think about doing that, and even just for the 30-day, like the month-long challenges that I've done, I'll find footage and then I'll lose footage and then I'll find it again later, but I've already edited around it. And I'm just like, how do people keep up with stuff, one, but also like, how do I keep talking about this? My brain is goo.
I think when I started writing my adult high fantasy, I don't even know that YouTube existed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh my gosh. That was it. I keep saying it was like a decade ago, but it was way more than a decade ago. It was like 17 years ago.
Could you imagine, like, old school camcorder with the tape that you had to put in?
Oh my gosh. It was so long ago. So long. Yeah. I'm old, y'all.
Yeah. 10 of us write bestsellers.
There you go.
I mean, why is there 100? 100 of us write the bestseller.
Right. If Colleen Hoover can do it, we can do it too.
Charlotte, I need this video. I have a year's worth of behind the scenes footage from writing and putting on a cabaret show that might just end up on one of the next time. I need that video.
Is it wrong that I hang out with way too many people a decade younger than me? Because I just read that as BTS and I was so confused.
No. I started, same.
I was like,
behind the scenes. That's it. Yes.
One of these things is not like the other. Ooh,
Yes. Yes.
exactly that.
Well, that's what, or just a
We
stream of us
we
finishing the
agree.
books, and then a stream of us getting the agent, and then a stream of
We've
us.
got we've got a whole year.
Yeah, yeah.
With a whole year. A whole
We
year.
got this. Let's see. Yes, JC didn't
Yes.
Elizabeth document her process too from start to finish. I mean, it was more than 90 days obviously, but she had. Yes, I also love this kind of series. I'm just like, it's incredible to see it in one video, but also that goes back to like how annoying the editing is as well.
Yeah, Lizelle has like an entire debut diaries on her channel, and Lindsay Puckett also has like everything of she has a couple of different videos. One was like everything of her getting an agent, and one is everything of her selling her book.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's one of like the process with the editor. Oh, excuse me. Multiple little videos of the process, not like one video of 90 days. But yes.
Yeah.
Lots of people doing all the things.
Which is also, it goes back to, again, like, honestly, that's what YouTube wants too, is more individual videos on the thing. So it's just, it's not really realistic. I'd much rather have like a million Lindsay and Lizelle videos than just the one, you know, like if I'm really asking for something, I want a million of their videos about it. So.
And then time to watch those videos.
Yeah, that's, yes. The true problem. I guess that's really, I selfishly want one video encapsulating it all because it's like I can sit down for one whole one.
I can watch one video.
Yes, Emily, I'd like to see more in-depth videos about cover design. I've seen a few, but there's a lot of missing info from them, where to source stock photos and use them legally. Yes. How about doing individual videos about the process in the super cover? I think that would also work really well.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us, I always say the problem is that we're not necessarily like quote unquote professional video editors. And so that's the part. But you know what? Maybe I just need to do the thing I say I want, and then I can.
I don't remember who did it, but someone had like logged and this was probably been 5 or 6 years ago. Someone did all of their publishing journey videos, and you know everything was like all of the positives and everything, and then after publishing posted a video that was like all of like the literal tears and blood, sweat and tears, and like the stress and the anger and just like sitting in the car crying, stressing out, like all of that in one video, to be like, I was trying to keep everything upbeat and happy while we were working towards the goal, but this is what really went into it.
Was
And
that
I thought that was an
Chan?
interesting take. It may have been, because it's been forever.
Yeah, I was like, I don't actually know that I watched it, but I feel like I remember people talking about it and being like, I need to watch it. I like that too. That's what Tenacious here with it too.
Yeah.
But
it might have been. Like I said, it was like forever ago. It was like way back in the day.
Yeah.
way back in the 90s.
Yeah, I was about to say it's weird to have been around for different eras of Authortube, quote unquote, at this point. I don't know what we'd name them, since I'm terrible with naming, but I feel like we need names.
Oh, what the era would be called?
Yeah.
Well, the first era is the first era. We're now in like era 3, I believe.
I think so too. Yeah. You know, or ages, you know, it could be. Yes. That's what we just need Brooke to come back and tell us how she does hers. We need the cover designers to hop in and.
Yeah, Brooke, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
She's not here, so she can't tell us, but.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'll just.
Speaking of people that don't read messages in chat. Whew.
Yeah.
Just call out everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to start a TikTok under my pen name and hopefully build a following that way. I mean, TikTok is where it's at nowadays, I suppose.
I will say, and I know Kate has touched on this in videos as well, where you are posting your author related things, don't expect that to be your audience, because you're going to get an audience of other writers. You're not necessarily going to get an audience of readers.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if with TikTok how much easier it would be to do like book talk stuff at the same time though. I don't really understand how their algorithm works because I'm not on TikTok, but I could see like if you mixed author talk and book talk together, how that would be a really good way to if you wanted to try and get readers to read your book as well, that would be a good way to do it. Thus beginneth the third age of Authortube.
for realsies.
Yes. Also, oh, bye, Jeff. Hey, Morgan.
Hello, goodbye, goodbye, hello.
Yes. My comedy style lends itself to 15 seconds videos, which is totally fair. Barrett, which era of Authortube was the most fun? Which was the most drama filled? Oh, see, this is when we'd have to.
Era two was the most drama filled for sure.
Yeah. Was that era 2? That was era 2.
Era 3 is the most fun, but
do you
era 1.
Do you think we came in at era at the beginning of era 2 or end of era 1?
End of era 1.
I think you're right. You're probably right. I think so. Because there were enough big people, or what felt really big at the time, at era 1, and then we were like, we got to be little newbies, and then there was, I'm with you. Yeah,
and then there was the thing, and then there was the that is era 2.
That is
absolutely.
You nailed it.
And era 3, I keep saying error. Era 3 would have been like the beginning of 2021-ish, like where we grew hearts and things. Middle of 2020.
I think so too. Once we were all like, wow, this planet we're all on together. Also, thank you, Travis Sylvania. First off, you got a great name. It does not show the adorable little avocado dancing and bowing on the StreamYard, but I love it. Thank you so much. More people making Authortube. Do it, Jeff.
Do the things.
It sounds like the beginning of an epic fantasy. I mean, if we just added more dramatic names and stuff, I think we could make an entire saga of it.
Right.
Oh man. Their eras only in our minds.
Only we're making this up as we go. Don't worry.
I came into the world at the beginning of the third era, the era of fun. Yes.
The era of politeness and fun.
Yeah. Dot. Okay.
In comparison to era 2.
Yes. That's true. Well, okay, Miss Jess, what era do you think BookTube's on? Since you and I both watched more BookTube to start with, and you still do more BookTube stuff.
BookTube is on, how long has, 1, 2, probably 7.
That does feel right, doesn't it? It's more advanced.
It's definitely more advanced, and it's more popular. So it's a bigger populace of a region.
Yeah, it's seen the come and go of different people and the mainstays and staples.
Yeah.
Also not a bad idea, Adventures in Fantasy. I think this is another thing most people have kind of started feeling. It's just you know what?
I'll do what I want to do.
I do what I want.
I mean, my channel is reading, writing, and planner related things. There could be anything reading, writing, or planner related.
Yeah.
So. Or just my face related.
It's also more drama. I think because it's bigger. That's what different eras have,
More or less drama.
Yeah.
Depending.
I'm just write down, vaguely research eras. Will I make this a whole thing? because why not? I need polls of the people who are there who can tell the tales. I think channels can and should change over time as we as creators evolve to evolve our channels, right? Yeah, I think so.
I feel like, to me as a viewer who does actually spend a lot of time watching YouTube, it is more about the person, their personality, and like what they bring to my watch time than what they're actually talking about. Because I can tell you right now, the two things I watch the most on YouTube are what I call them the Midwest moms. There's like 3 vloggers who live in the Midwest and are mothers of multiple children. I don't have those, by the way. And like their channels are literally like them taking care of their kids or budgeting for large families, meal planning, grocery shopping. Like those are like that's a large core of my watched content. And the other thing is French chateau videos. Those are the 2 things I watch the most.
Amazing. You know what? Here's my thing. If anything is true about me is that I will fully binge something and then move on to something else and then move on to something else and then remember how much I liked this thing and come back to it. So not only do I do this with writing, as we've vaguely complained about in this live stream, but like my YouTube content that I consume as well. Also,
the only thing I have ever watched consistently is the Chateau Diaries. Like that's it. That's the only thing I watch consistently.
I haven't watched it in a while, but like again, it was like a great 3 days when I watched all of her videos nonstop, and it made me so happy. So
I just it's like it makes me happy. I love seeing like people who are all so creative and artistic, like being in one place together and being happy and communal. And I just want that for us.
Yeah.
I just want us all to live in one place together and be happy and eat cake and have sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah. It's a good goal. Once we are all 100 of us are bestsellers at the same time, we all buy a chateau together. And that's the new dream. Also, those sound like great videos. I'm here for it. Okay. Shall we do the thing, Miss Jessica? And tier rank. For those of you who don't know, 2 years ago, at this point, Jessica and I started the Authortube Chat book club portion of our live streams. And so every other month we read a book club pick that we let y'all know about. And this month was Dash and Lily's Book of Dares. Yeah. So we will talk spoilers as we're talking about it. But before that, shall we move to doing this thing that I set up and am unnecessarily proud of? Do we want to do this first, or do we want to?
We should do this first,
and then we can do.
Well, first, did you finish reading Dash and Lily's Book of Dares?
I did finish reading Dash and Lily's Book of Dares.
Oh, what did you rate it?
Oh. Okay. I'm like trying to say how I felt about it without talking about it super in depth. But
well, I mean, that's fair. I mean, I just want like a number. Like you could just give me a number.
You know what? You know I don't do numbers. I liked it. Here's the problem. This is what I had. Where did it go on here? This one, I would rate it from like between pretty good and can't wait to reread. That's how I feel. Is that a 3.5? Is that?
Interestingly enough, I did reread it because it was a reread for me.
Yeah.
I also reread book 2 and read book 3 and watched the Netflix adaptation.
Yes.
So
what did you rate it then, if this was a reread?
The original read, I read it a 4.25.
Okay.
And I also agree upon reread that it is still fantastic.
Okay. So here's what I want to do, Jess, because for those of you guys who have joined us in these chats throughout the last couple of years, you will know that basically what we can do is put The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo all the way to the top, because
absolutely
that was phenomenal and raved about it and cried multiple tears and everything else.
Mhm.
And then
All of it.
we both can put a Discovery of Witches in the dumpster fire, because we only continued that one on because it was our first book club pick we'd ever chosen, and neither one of us wanted to DNF it, even though we both actually really wanted to DNF it.
It's fair.
After that, though, you and I kind of are all over the place. Yes.
Everywhere else after that is, you know, I would say we both liked One of Us Is Lying.
Yes.
Like, that would be fair, like, in that category, can't wait to reread. I think we could both say that's
Yeah.
fair.
And you know what? I would also be fine actually putting this one up and can't wait to reread.
And maybe The Girl from the Well. Maybe. I don't know how you felt about it. I enjoyed it quite much.
I really loved it, and I cannot wait to reread it and read the sequel, which I'm not done yet.
And
Yes.
then after that, it's all like,
yeah.
but that means that of the 12, a quarter of them we both really liked.
Yes.
So that's fair.
Yeah. So we did read Strange the Dreamer for our book club pick, and I feel like we both had feelings.
I think you liked it more than I did, but I still enjoyed it.
Well, and I was about to say, I'd actually put it right here.
Yeah, and that's
about where you
I enjoyed it. I do plan to read the second book. I don't know that I would ever sit down and reread it, but I do at some point plan to read the second book.
If I don't read the second book, I do want to read the Wikipedia on what happens in the second book. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The problems I had with Strange the Dreamer make me not want to reread it, but also the world and like some of the writing was so engrossing that I'm so curious. Like, I don't know. I get
that one was also a experiment for us because Kate did not read the prologue and I did.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
And I would have given that book like a bajillion star rating had I not read the prologue, because the end plot twist would have been so fantastic.
Yeah.
Whereas you know what happens at the end of the book because it's in the prologue.
Yeah. Oh my god, I had forgotten.
Which is so dumb. Who does this? I mean, Laini Taylor, obviously, but who does that?
Again, why do we need prologues? I'm just saying. Having said that, there are other prologues that I have liked, but like, I have mixed feelings. Yeah.
I would also say we could put Meet Cute in pretty good because we both loved and hated stories in that. Yes. And for the most part agreed on both of those. Like the ones we enjoyed, we both enjoyed, and the ones we didn't like, we both didn't like. There was some middling, but yes.
Now, the one that here's the other one that I think we might be close. Stalking Jack the Ripper. What would that be for you?
I would reread that book 100 times.
Okay. And I'm somewhere in pretty good.
Right. So it's like,
moving on from here, we're going to go, Jessica, I'm going to let you rank them. You let me know where you want stuff moved to, because this is where we've diverged. We've done good up until this point. We're even.
Okay, so in Jessica ratings,
yes,
I Believe in a Thing Called Love is going into the dumpster fire because I DNF'd that. Okay.
Yeah.
Bloodchild, I would say pretty good. Stalking Jack the Ripper, I would say can't wait to reread. I still struggle with the 5th season because I love like the premise and the plot. I just don't like her writing style. So I would say pretty good.
Oh, okay.
And then the last two I would stick in. I will force my friends and family to read this book.
Both of them. Okay.
Both of the last two. Yeah. Which Kate DNF'd The Nature of Witches. So that's like our big disparaging.
I did DNF The Nature of Witches.
That's me. That's me right there.
Okay. This is when at some point in the future when I go to grab this, I will know to be like, this is the part where I got justice. So I'm going to move these. Whoop. Oh, no. How do I take it off now? Oh no, remove.
You probably
Panic.
can't. You probably have to just move it.
Oh. Okay, well, here's the
Oh, you
thing.
can reset. There's a reset button at the bottom, but then you have to change them all.
No, it's fine. Okay, 5th season, I'm gonna put I have forced multiple friends and family to reread it. Truth Witch, a lot of them I feel like in between here. I'm gonna move Bloodchild up to Can't Wait to Reread. Girlfriend Stalking Chapter, I'm gonna move back down to Pretty Good, even though I did quite like that one too. I Believe in a Thing Called Love is somewhere in here also. And then here's the thing, The Nature of Witches is a step above The Dumpster Fire, because even though I DNF'd it, there were parts that I really enjoyed so much more than A Discovery of Witches, that and to the point that like I wanted Jessica to tell me what happened in The Nature of Witches, so that cuz so anyways, yeah. I think this is my ranking. I think this is my
Which, to be fair, neither of us have been like terrible. Like we've had some terrible books, but we've not like the majority of them we've both liked.
yeah. Yeah, seeing it like this is actually pretty nice. I also thought the 5th season was going to be technically fine for her too.
Okay, here's the thing about the 5th season. Theoretically, for me, I could put it in, I will force all of my friends and family to read this book, because I think it is important. It has a lot of important topics, conversations about race and social status, all of those things, climate. It's a very important book that talks about a lot of important topics, but the writing style didn't work for me. So it's just a me thing.
Yeah.
I can look at it objectively and go, this is a really good book, and this author has some serious talent, but it just doesn't work for me. So, and I did read through like really large, I spent like 2 hours reading synopses of book 2 and 3, or like not even really synopses. What's the word I'm looking for? Like the actual, like, this is what happened, and then all of the plot points and themes and all of that. Like I spent a couple of hours reading through those for the second and third book,
Okay.
because I was interested to know what happened. Just the writing style didn't work for me. So
Yeah. And that's what technically categories more like I didn't like it, but I understand. That could be. I had some legitimate complaints about The Nature of Witches that I think are valid complaints, whether you liked it or didn't like it, but also I totally see why someone would like it. And I also totally get why, as much as I liked Can't Wait to Read, I Believe in It Feels Up, I get why Jessica put it in the dumpster fire category, because her complaints are also like legitimate complaints. It just.
And then you told me how it ended. I don't even. Oh my God.
I get it. I get it.
No. Not even no, but hell no. Just no.
And
I'm
you know
out.
what? I was so entertained. We're going back to that entertainment value, and I was entertained.
I mean, entertainment value was great. I was not entertained. I
Yeah.
was severely distraught at the lack of decency and care for human life.
All right. Now, Jessica, that we have both ranked. Oh no, now I'm forgetting what we both ranked.
It was
Definitely
in
fierce. We both put it
Can't
pretty.
wait to reread.
Yeah.
Can't wait to reread.
So, if that gives y'all any indication of how we felt about this book, we can't wait to read.
We can't wait to reread it.
Yes, yes. I loved it. I do want to say that this I thought so anyways, okay. Spoilers from here on out. Unless Jessica, would you like to give a review because you're better at this than me that's like non-spoilery of what you thought?
I can. And if you guys weren't here last week or last month before technically would be when we actually talked about what this book is about. It's Christmassy. It involves Dash and Lily, who are two teenagers in New York. And Lily leaves like a notebook of dares in the Strand, which is a bookstore, in case you don't know, for someone to find, and has like a set of riddles for them to solve. And Dash finds the book, and they start like kind of communicating through the book and giving each other dares, and kind of fall in love with each other throughout the book. as for like a non-spoiler review, I enjoyed the Christmas aspect of it. It was the most Christmassy thing I did all season this Christmas was, as I said, read all 3 books and watch the Netflix series. It has a lot of like found family aspects and also like a large family aspect. If you love seeing like a large family on page, a very nosy family, you'll love it. I think it's inclusive. I think it's diverse. I think if you like travel elements, because they're going all over New York, it's all over the place. My biggest complaint, my first read through, was I thought that the teenagers didn't necessarily talk like teenagers. But upon my reread, I felt like it was more accurate than what I originally thought. But I think that's because my nieces are all hitting 16 right now. And some of them do kind of spew at me. Sometimes they say things and I'm just like, how are you this smart?
Yeah.
So the first time I read it, which was like 2016 or 2017, I was like, this is not accurate. This is not how teens talk. But now that my teenage nieces are getting to that age, I'm like, oh, maybe they do. Maybe some of them do. So that's what I got.
I love that. And that was my biggest initial complaint. So I put the spoiler chat on now because there will be spoilers from here on out. Is that I found Dash to be initially quite pretentious, but also he's meant to be quite pretentious. And that's what over the course of the novel, we get a growth from him. There's growth from both characters that I found so delightful, and that they both were like done because of each other, but also their outside forces and like other characters in a beautiful way that you don't get from a lot of quote unquote romance books, which this one's not really. It's more contemporary than actual romance, you know, but he's super pretentious. If John Green's the way John Green's teenage characters talk bother you, the way Dash talks the first part of the book will bother you. And then I think it is like kind of a valid complaint, but he's meant to be that way. And so I actually think it's a good example of doing a pretentious character well, because the like other characters who respond and react to him like he's being pretentious, which I loved, because sometimes in like the John Green books, they just respond back as if this is normal. And it's like, no, he's being a bit of an asshole, right? He's being, what was the word of the book? Not smarmy. What did they use?
Snarl.
Snarl.
They
Yeah.
call him snarly.
You know? And so I like that the characters, whether they're like a character we see again or a character we never see again, react to Dash that he's being this way. It was really good. So
I think in the TV series, I'm trying to remember, Boomer's parents, Boomer's mom, I think calls him finicky or persnickety. I think it's like one of those two. I can't think of which word it is because I watched a couple weeks ago, but it's very accurate. Like, he is a very pretentious 17-year-old, but I feel like some of us were. So
yeah, no, it's definitely accurate, and I love how it's mirrored with Lily being this person. The way that the first chapter ends and then her chapter starts about her Dash hating Christmas and Lily being like, I love Christmas cheer. And she kind of gets her stuff in about how like she's not into like the religious aspect of it necessarily, but like she loves the feeling of it. You know, there's something for everyone, I think, in it as far as Christmas books go. But it was just so great to have such opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm like, man, they set this up so well. They knew what they were doing and they really sold it to me. So it was good.
Well, and I think they did a great job of explaining why Dash doesn't like Christmas and why he is persnickety and like why that personality is a personality for him versus just like being an asshole. Like, he's not. It's definitely Grumpy Sunshine. If you like a Grumpy Sunshine romance or friendship, it definitely has that. But like, he's not an asshole. He's just snarly.
Yes. Yeah. And I actually think that what I also appreciated about this book is that, kind of similar to One of Us is Lying, where they just had adult characters that kind of suck sometimes, and they didn't go into like depth about we didn't have to have the whole backstory about why they sucked, other than like some people just kind of suck. And so we get a little bit about Dash's dad, and he just kind of sucks, you know, and you have to like, that's just how life is. Sometimes adult figures just suck. And so we don't need to spend a whole lot of time on that, but like it is present. And I just appreciated how they handled that. Like they didn't talk down to Dash about it, and they didn't talk down to us, the reader, about it. So it was
Yeah.
done really well.
And I will say, in the third book, we meet Dash's grandmother, which is her father's mother,
Uh-huh.
and her father's mother, his father's mother. And you still, even with like her and Dash like growing closer and having a relationship, you still never really find out like why his dad is the way he is, because it doesn't make any sense, because his grandma is like crazy, like ran away to follow the Rolling Stones around the world, kind of
Yeah.
crazy. And yeah, so
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've been sold on reading more of the books. I really enjoyed it, and I do think I'm gonna watch the show. So, since we talked earlier about adaptations, do you think that this is a good adaptation?
I think I'm interested to see if they renew it for a second season and what they would do.
Mhm.
Because while the plot line of the first series is the plot of the first book, like the main plot, some of the dares are actually things that they do in the second and third
Oh, interesting.
books. So, well, the third book takes place in Europe, in London, I think. So it is a bit different, and it's like while they're in college. But the second book is like set a year later at Christmas time. And so some of the dares or some of the things that they do is related to um, the second book versus the first book. But I
Mhm.
think they did a really good job of transferring things over. They actually meet in real life before they know who each other are, which is interesting.
Okay.
And Boomer has like a one location that you typically see Boomer in, versus like in the book how you see him all over the place, like
Yeah.
randomly doing this, that, or the other thing. And that's because it costs them less money to have one scene
Yeah.
setting than it does 20.
Yeah.
Um, and so that I mean, that's kind of an adaptation thing where um, it just uh, they have to take, where in a book you can write however many different scene settings you want and it costs the same amount of money,
Yes.
whereas with a TV show or a movie you have to kind of condense it down so things happen in places they don't normally happen in. And
Mhm.
I think they did a really good job with it. It was really cute, and I did like it. I will
Okay.
watch it again.
Okay. Would read again, would watch again. I'm
Yeah.
excited. One of the things I also loved was how the growth of the characters, the thing with Lily was her at sort of the middle-ish end of the novel, when she realizes that maybe it was kind of her all along with why she and the soccer team. Like before, she thought she was just on the outskirts, and like people just like that's just how it was, and they just weren't as interested. Like she was a great goalie, they liked her as a teammate, but she wasn't, you know, friends. That wasn't who they turned to. And she realized later that, oh, maybe I was the one who was
Putting
stopped.
myself in that location. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I just thought that was a really beautiful thing to have to show, readers as well, for something that's, like, made for teenagers, you know? I thought that was done really well.
They definitely made like some of the big changes, like they made it's interesting to me that if you read the epilogue of the third book, they actually wrote some of the third book while on set for the TV series.
Oh,
Um, so like they were on set visiting, and some of their writing was actually done while they were on set visiting. And somehow still, Lily's grandmother, no, Dash's grandmother, um, and Lily's aunt,
mhm.
Mrs. Basil E.
Great aunt, yeah.
They in the are kind of combined into the same character in the TV
Okay.
show. So it's like Mrs. Basil E, but also she kind of has some of Dash's grandma's personality,
Yeah.
which is strange. And they did that somewhere else too, where they like combined two people And it was just interesting the way that they did some of the things that they did. But I do like the adaptation. But as far as the book goes, I think it's interesting to me as non-native New Yorkers, because we're not, and I would love to have the opinion of someone who was, but or people who are not also. But I feel like the quintessential Christmas for Americans is like Christmas in New York. Like that's the thing that we all see. Like you see it on TV, you read it in books, and it is like, for some reason to me, Christmas is not Christmas unless it's Christmas in New York. I've never been there, I've never seen it, I've never done it, but it just like that makes Christmas feel so much more Christmassy to me, which is so weird. Um, but I think that's one reason why I like to revisit this series. And like I said, I've read the first book twice, and I've read the second book twice now, or the first book 3 times now, second book twice. And I just love like going to New York for Christmas. Don't know why, because I've never actually been to New York before.
I think that's an interesting point about how the media we consume kind of changes our expectations around stuff, because I totally feel you. I've lived in the South in Texas or in the West Coast, very hot Vegas for all my life. And yet I still have this perception of like, well, the ball will drop on New Year's and it'll be cold and like it'll be like I'll have mittens on and like this is what's gonna happen. And it's like I've never had a New Year's like that. Like that's not what I'm out in shorts and a t-shirt on Christmas, you know, like, but in my mind, Christmas has flurries and like it's, you know, there's all this stuff, and that's just not the Christmas I experience, but certainly the one I expect. And so that's a really funny point.
Sarah, I will say one of the scenes that I loved that made me crack up in the movie is Dash is talking about, they're talking about whether they want to watch Home Alone or Home Alone 2. And Dash just goes on this tirade of how Home Alone 2 is so unrealistic. He's like, we live in New York. We know that you can't walk from this landscape to this landscape to this landscape in 5 minutes. You got to take this train, go here, go there. And then everybody's just staring at him. He's like, yeah, Home Alone 2, let's watch it.
Yeah.
So, but it's a great movie, so let's watch it. So it was interesting too to have that aspect of like possibly a native New Yorker would say something like that when being brought forward with all of this content of those of us who have never been there, like, this is fantastic. None of these places are anywhere close to each other, because we don't really realize how big New York is. And I feel like if you've never been to a big ass city like that, you don't realize it.
Yeah.
And I haven't been. So
yeah. Claire's with me. I live in Southern California and I feel you. And then Maddie says, as someone living in the Southern Hemisphere, I need Christmas movies set in countries like mine where it's summer. Yeah, unless it's like holiday Christmas movies where they go to like Hawaii or something. Like that's what I feel like.
All the Christmas movies are set where it's cold. And honestly, Canadians get more snow than we do. So why do we do? We do it because like we are the, you know, movie mecca of the planet, at least in our opinion, because Americans are not all that in a bag of chips. But in our minds, we are the movie mecca of the planet. And we make everything like snowy and wintry and cold. And it's like, it's actually, guys, it was 67 on Christmas Day. I was sitting on my front porch in a t-shirt and shorts drinking a beer. Okay. It was not cold.
Yeah.
It's not cold. So.
But that's not the mental image. Yeah. It's wild. I've been to New York City once and I do want to go back someday.
Our first year on Authortube, and when we made our original core friend group, and all of us live in the Northern Hemisphere except for Emily, and we were like, so what are Christmas cards like there? Yeah. Because our Christmas cards are like wintry and Christmas trees and evergreens and all these things. And so she was just like sending us pictures of Christmas cards. It's like Santa Claus on a surfboard, or laying on the beach or whatever. And I'm just like, this is so amazing because it's so different from what we're used to. And I love that.
I remember that so vividly and I loved it so much. And I also remember that I had this basketball player that I liked who grew up in New Zealand. And he was talking about how he thought actually Christmas was better in the Southern Hemisphere because all of the like rollerblades or like skateboard toys or whatever you get as a kid, you could just use them immediately. You don't have to worry about it. And I was like,
right, we get like toys that are made for outdoor activities, and you can't use any of them because it's the middle of winter.
Right. In
So,
theory, except that, of course, as we both discussed, we were both in shorts and t-shirts. But yes.
climate change and all that.
Yes.
Because I live in Ohio and it's supposed to be cold here.
I
It's
am
not.
so much more astounded by your Christmas situation.
Yes. And I do know Emmy said that it was like 107 Fahrenheit on Christmas Day. And I'm like, I would melt. Would just melt. I don't know what humidity is like there, but here it's terrible.
Yeah, hard same. That sounds awful. That's why I spend so much more time indoors in the summer, because it's just melting all the time. Christmas in the Caribbean is Santa in shorts sipping a pina colada. See,
I mean, good for Santa. He needs a break. He's got to make a lot of toys for a lot of kids.
yeah.
Someone presented me with a comedian, and it was oh my gosh, I can't even remember what it was. The comedian was not religious. Was it a Jewish comedian? I don't even know. It was a non-Christian religious person. And they were talking about how when they were kids, their parents told them that Santa Claus came to houses, but couldn't come to every kid's house because they didn't want him to like tell other kids that Santa wasn't real.
Yeah.
And he said that it was all going really well until he heard that they call Santa Claus Saint Nick or Saint Nicholas. He's like, because all the saints are dead. Like, you don't get sainted until you die. So
Yeah.
he's like, I was 8 and I was telling some kid that like Santa Claus was dead. And so he ruined it even that like, you call him what now? Like saint means he's died. He is deceased.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is so true. So,
amazing.
you know.
I love it so much. Oh, man. Do we have any other thoughts about that? I like how there were side romances, kind of.
Yes.
Definitely those book dares. I mean, they weren't really truly. Like, I liked how it showed a good relationship between exes with Dash. And just how sometimes things just don't work out as much as you in theory would want them to, and that's okay. Sometimes it's just weird, and I really liked them kind of navigating that weirdness. Lily really getting out of her shell more and more through the dares and kind of finding her own self, separate from Dash, but going on these adventures. So it was just so good. It hit all the points.
It is interesting, like, and their first meeting goes terribly.
Yes.
Like, horribly wrong. And they both consider stopping what they're doing, stopping the dares. And yet they kind of are like, but no, because it's made me such a better person that I should continue, if they want to continue, I should continue. So I think that aspect of it is interesting as well. Like pushing past your first impression of someone, because people sometimes some days are just weird,
Yeah.
Some days are weird.
Yep. I did also like how, and you can correct me since I'm curious about the next couple books, but I like how they kind of had Dash writing in the postcards at first, since what I'm imagining for book 2 is that the postcards play a role in that book. Is that true or not? That's what I need to.
Nah.
Not at all. Okay. It's like, man, they set it up to. But I like how he did think about just how like getting out his thoughts and feelings. I like also how they discuss like idealizing people, which I think a lot of us do with crushes. Like that's a whole aspect of having a crush on someone when you're younger, or even just like currently or whatever, is that you idealize them so much more than you actually like know them a lot of the time. And through writing to each other, how much of it was an idealized version versus writing to themselves versus actually to this person. It was just a great exploration of that.
Yeah, the person in your head versus the person they are in real life. Mm-hmm. And you always have a different person in your head than what you I don't want to say that because that's not accurate, but you definitely will always see people differently in your head than what they actually are, especially when you don't know them very well.
Mm-hmm. I love. I found out Santa Claus wasn't real when I was about 8. I got up at 1 a.m. to get a glass of water and caught my mom red-handed wrapping gifts. We just stared at each other for a long time. I love the silent stare off.
The year I found out that Santa Claus wasn't real, my mom had me wrap all of my own gifts. Like, she didn't tell me they were mine. She just like gave me a pile of gifts and was like, here, wrap these. And when I opened them all on Christmas Day, that was when I got my lesson
from Santa.
That Santa was not real, because I had to wrap all of my own gifts.
What a way. I was told by a neighborhood kid when I was 5 that the tooth fairy wasn't real. And then my kid brain was like, well, if the tooth fairy's not real, then Santa isn't real. And I took this accusation to my parents, and they had to sit me down at 5, and they're like, yes, but you have 2 younger brothers and you can't say anything for the next however many years. And I was like, okay. And I took my solemn oath to them very seriously.
To this day, I have not told my brothers that Santa Claus is not real.
They still believe. It's the magic.
They still believe in the magic. I have definitely like explained to my nieces and nephews who, because we do have younger, we have everything from like 23 to brand new babies. I've definitely had the conversation like, I grasp the concept that you know that Santa isn't real, but do you know that there was like a real person? There's actually a Saint Nicholas. Like, this is a whole thing, and you got to have your childhood believing in this thing, so let's not ruin it for anybody else.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's a great time. Great time to be alive.
All these lies we tell children.
I mean, you tell your kids that there's a fat guy in a white beard who comes into your house and brings presents. If somebody wants to break into your house, all they have to do is dress up like Santa Claus and come in, and your kids are going to be like, Santa! And they're just going to be like, hand him a present, send him off on their way, and then he's going to rob you blind. So maybe not the best of ideas.
This is genius. And if someone hasn't already written that somewhere, which I'm hopeful that they have so that I can find it and watch it, I need you to write it. Because I would watch that. Could you imagine like a catchier name than the robbing Santas, but like not swindling Santas? That's not as good. I need something.
I have always said I will not go to a haunted house or like where they decorate the house as a haunted house, or like the haunted cornfields, haunted mazes. No, thank you. Because if someone wants to murder somebody, that's where you go, where they're not going to run from you when you come at them with a chainsaw.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yes. I actually have been to haunted houses, and that's the only actual fear I had was like, what if this dude's like, I'm just waiting to see someone like actually being murdered. For those of you guys who like Psych, that's actually a plot point that happens at some point and in one of the episodes, and I've ever since will not get it out of my brain. I'm with you.
Someone, when I've been working since I was 15, and it was somebody that I worked with before I graduated high school, who was older than me, told me that, and I was like, yeah, never going. Thank you. Never happening. Like, we can go to a haunted house, like where people think there are ghosts there. Ghosts can't hurt me. Well, I mean, they can't. Don't take any challenges. Okay.
Yeah.
Ghosts most likely will not hurt me. People are assholes. So,
Zara, I have seen too many shows where dead bodies are dressed up like scarecrows, and I'm sure the murder for real scenarios happen for. Yeah. Also, real talk, Santa was a minority. He wouldn't be able to sneak in our house in the middle of the night. That is very true too. I was excited this year. I saw that HEB sells, HEBs are like South Texas, Central South Texas grocery store chain. And they had both brown Santas and the white Santa. And I was like, you know what? I appreciate you for actually having some brown Santas. Which, I mean, San Antonio, it makes more sense than, I guess, other places. But I was like, you know what? This is progress. We're getting there. More brown Santas.
In reference to Zara's comment, we actually had a murder here 5 or 6 years ago where they killed someone and like left them hanging on a fence. And it took a few days for people to realize that it was actually an actual body. They thought that it was a Halloween decoration because it was on like a dead end street. So like there wasn't like people really driving by that much or anything. And then like one of the neighbors finally called the cops and they were like, yeah, that's a real body you guys have been staring at for 2 days. So
that's so horrifying.
Yeah.
Yes, Sarah. And I still love paper towns. I know most people don't like that.
I haven't read
As
that
far
one.
as John Green books go, I haven't seen it as being the one people are into as much, but I loved it. I
don't love his most popular book, which is the one book with the thing. What's that book called?
The Fault in Our Stars.
The Fault in Our Stars. Mm-hmm. And I don't love it. So
no, that's okay.
I have large issues with people going to the Anne Frank house and making out and the whole audience clapping.
Yeah.
Like you're there to watch a movie like about Anne Frank and the struggles of the Jewish people. And instead you're in the back making out. And then when you're done kissing, everybody around you claps. I have problems like that. Just no.
Yeah. No, it's valid points.
I'm done. Like I'm done. Like at that point I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm done.
Yeah.
This is how I live my life now. Judging people.
Constantly.
I'm like the most judgmental bitch on the planet. I reign supreme.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
All right, Miss Jess, do you have any other thoughts on Dash and Lily's Book of Dares other than you liked it and would reread again?
Nope. Everybody should read it and the sequel to that and watch the TV series, especially around Christmas time because it's fantastic and Christmassy. Da, da, da.
Da, 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 da. Okay. Oh, except I do love Cia's. Speaking of not liking someone's backlist, how many times will you try an author before you write them off? Twice. I will try one book, and to be fair, if on that one book, like if I see glimpses of like, okay, I get why everyone's hyped about it, I'll try another one. But if I'm still not into it, sometimes you just don't jive with someone's style or story.
I have favorite authors who have a book that I'm just like, oh.
Same. So. Yeah. I have favorite authors where I love like everything they've done except for this one thing. And I'm like, it's okay. So you never twice.
2 different series.
Yes.
Different characters, 2 like completely different series.
Yes.
If they write series.
Well, Jessica, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you everyone in the chat for coming and hanging out with us. We had so much fun, and you can find us next month for a very special edition of the Authortube Chat stream / our celebration of 5 years on YouTube. 5 years sounds wild, by the way. Like, it doesn't seem right.
It's been 5 years.
How? Anyways, it'll be on Jessica's channel. You'll hear about that more from us later. Okay, thanks everyone. Goodbye.